Let's show a bit of love to some of our older books. G'day to all you lovely people and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kathy and today I want to share with you a challenge that I spoke about in my previous video, which I think came out last week. It is the Loving What You Own challenge. It is a challenge that my friend Jacqueline and I came up with when we were talking about some of our older books. We often do buddy reads and we were talking about some of our older books, and one thing led to another and we came up with this challenge for ourselves, which we thought perhaps some others might like to join us on. Basically, the challenge is to only read books that we've owned a minimum of 6 months during the months of February and March. Now, I will get into more detail about the challenge in a little while, but I wanted to discuss some of the reasons why we came up with this challenge. And one is that everyone is always so excited about what's new, what has just come out, whether it's a book or a film or a TV show. It seems like anything that's old isn't worthwhile, and that is definitely not true. And I'll be honest, I'm as guilty of that as everyone else, though I do try to show some love to older books. One thing that I have been trying, for example, in the last year or so, is reading a new series and then reading or rereading an older series. And that makes me feel better that I'm actually showing some appreciation to my older books, not just the new ones. Another reason for doing this challenge is that you can then cycle out some of these books that have been on your shelves for a while, which you have wanted to read, though perhaps you may not love them enough to want to keep them. And then you can make room for new books. Now, I will admit, I am very bad at unhauling, but I know a lot of people do that. They either sell on their books and get some new ones, or they exchange them at a second-hand bookshop. And I think that is a great way of making some room for newer books that you haven't tried yet. I wish I was better at unhauling, but I am definitely a bit of a hoarder when it comes to books, and I do find it hard to get rid of them, though I am trying. And I think if I can make room for more books that I do want to keep, all the better to do this by going through some of my older books. Another reason is that we tend to forget. When we bought those books that we've had for a while, we were just as excited as we are when we buy a new book today. Just because we haven't read them doesn't necessarily make them bad books. There could be a myriad number of reasons as to why we haven't read them. I know, for example, for me, there was a period in my life around 10 years where I just did not read much. I had overdosed on fantasy, even though I kept buying, and then I just lost interest. That doesn't mean those books were bad. It's just I wasn't in the mood to read them. That's another reason why I want to do this challenge, because I know that when I did buy them, I was excited about these series. It just so happened that it was the wrong time in my life to read them. Another reason is that every time I see those books on my shelves that have been there for a while that are unread, I feel guilty. I really do. I feel like they're reproaching me for not loving them, for not trying them, for leaving them unappreciated and unread on my shelves for such a long time. And lastly, we might actually find a hidden treasure. Some book that we discover we absolutely adore. We won't know until we've tried it. Now, these are some of our reasons for wanting to do this challenge, but I'm sure that there are others. And this challenge is not meant to be strenuous or difficult, and it is going to be as flexible as you want it to be. It's meant to be enjoyable and fun and unpredictable, because we just don't know what we're going to find in some of these older books that we've had for a while. It is also a challenge that you can undertake even if you don't own books or you don't own a lot of books. You can challenge yourself, for example, to just borrow books that have been out for a certain amount of time, though the minimum I think should be 6 months. For me, however, I've decided that my minimum is 10 years, that I am only going to read books that I have owned for at least 10 years over the months of February and March. Now, you don't even have to make it for 2 months. You can decide only to do it for 1 month. It is, as I said, very flexible. And you can choose any genres you like. There is no limit on that. The challenge is basically just to read books that we've owned or are borrowing that are at least 6 months old. Showing some love to older books, basically. And if you are going to undertake this challenge, even if you are not someone who comments on videos, I would love it if you would just put an emoji, say, of books in the comments to indicate that you're going to try this challenge with us. And of course, in April, I will do another video sharing my experience of this challenge. I'm hoping that I will learn to love some of these books, but who knows, I might actually hate some. We just don't know until we try them though, do we? I really do hope that more people show love to some of their older books. I know that some of my favorites are definitely older books, not necessarily newer ones. Well, that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know down in the comments or on Instagram what you think of this challenge and whether you're interested in actually undertaking it with us. You can also check out my friend Jacqueline's Instagram account, Madam Vader Reads, which I will link below. Well, thank you all very much for watching, and if you like this video, then you can do the usual. You can like, comment and subscribe if you haven't already, as it helps my channel to grow. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Bye!